Good morning, good morning, good morning, or good afternoon, or good night, whichever way works for you, whichever direction you're going in, whatever is popping, crack-a-lacking for you. It is Mr. Dreams to Reality, Coach Ford here, the Vision Coach. That's right, your Vision Coach. I'm in my virtual background studio through Riverside. I want to give a shout out to Riverside for giving me the ability to record podcasts. It's greatly appreciated to have the ability to not only become more, but to use this podcast and this platform to live a life by design. And so it's really a unique situation when you start to develop who you're supposed to be and not by somebody else's permission or not by someone else saying, hey, this is who you should be or who you should become. And I posted something on my Instagram and on my Facebook because, all those things are tied together from a couple of years ago that says, I tried being what the world told me I should be. And the biggest thing about that is, when you're trying to be who the world tells you to be, it takes away from a dynamic of who you can be and where you can go. And I believe it's important that you start to live life by design. And so that's where Vidir Prime comes in. I was blessed and fortunate to be gifted to me from God to have the ability to look at Vidir Prime as that focal point or that core product or that core offering. And for me, being a young entrepreneur and being a work professional, life can become real constricting. And I don't mean constricting in a way that's bad, because in order to build the right habits, you have to do the work every single day and you have to come in prepared. The thing that I'm talking about is not living life by design. And I said this in a workshop speech or speaking opportunity I had at a workshop recently at my church that I attend, or the congregation that I attend, or the organization that I'm part of, or the community that I'm a part of. And I think a better term is community, what it feels like to be in a community and to love on other people and to be around them. Now, I'm not saying I'm a community oriented guy. I'm in community spaces all the time. But what I am saying is it's important to be a part of a community. And when you're somebody like me that's always in the go and always in the mix, it becomes exhausting. But it's fun and it's exciting. And the ability to grow and develop as an individual is so important. So if you look at all my earlier videos, you'll see a drastic change in my delivery. You'll see a drastic change in how I present the material. And so it's really important that you're shifting your focus. I was talking to my big brother last night about the ability to visualize information, or the ability to visualize and see and write. So I've been talking about this for some weeks now. I've been talking about it for a couple months. Since November, I really started to craft and refine vision. And what does it mean to have a vision? What does it mean to live your life by design? And to understand, okay, there's some things that I really don't like in life. If people are honest with that, they would say, okay, I was born in this situation, right? So I really don't know anything outside of this. So it's hard to see past the situations. It's hard to see past the right now. It's hard to see past your growth and who you are. And so I will say, for an individual like me who grew up without a father and a mother, and to grow up to have this drive and hunger to want to have more is only a God-given gift. To see more, to have the ability and gift, to have foresight, to have the vision and ability to see beyond, to have the vision and ability to look beyond this current situation. So one of the things that I said in the workshop was I started to look past the veil. I started to say, okay, what is on this other side of the things they're not telling me? I lived one extreme of life. I lived in poverty. I lived in being poor. I lived that life. And so, you don't know you're living in rock bottom. You don't know the struggles. You don't know that you're dealing with things that most people don't deal with. And to have the hunger and drive to want to be a multimillionaire, not for me, but because of people like me and people in God's kingdom and citizens of the kingdom, to help them to see and be more and to expand that kingdom here on earth, and to touch and impact people's lives. It's much greater than just becoming a multimillionaire for myself and so my family can have things, because we don't need things if God already provides the things that we need. right? The basics, the necessities that we need to live our life and interaction with people. What more do we need outside of that connection and that community and that connectivity and loving on other people and improving on our ability to love other people and understanding what direction we're going and understanding here we are, right, in an age of AI and all these things, and people are freaking out and saying, okay, well, why are we not looking at this as a good thing? Why are we not focusing on the thing that AI can't be, which is a community driver? Plan events in your communities. Give people a way to connect offline, right? Some communities are doing a good job of this. It's always going to be in my belief system, it's always going to be the third party people. It's always going to be the individuals who set time out to create events. That's why sporting events are so popular, because it's not your state association, it's not your community, it's not your mayors that are driving it, it's the people that drive it. And that's what makes community so unique, to have a group of people working together and understanding this is where we're going and this is where we're going to grow and develop. And so, these things God has been working with me, and I can't say it's just me. I can't take credit for something that I was blessed with, and to have this insight and to understand what direction we're going in and what direction I need to go as a leader, and always questioning things, always questioning and understanding uh, that there's something beyond what we see. In order to do that, we must let go of some of the stressors and things that blind us to the possibilities. I always use Elon as a great example, because Elon was never scared to has never been scared to become the best version of himself, actually. And you know where are we going as an individual people, and how do we grow and expand what we're doing here on Earth, right? Elon wants to go to Mars, which is beautiful, and he wants to control space and all these things. But I believe and I know there's so much more than just that. We're always looking for answers outside of what's capable here. And so, well, let's get to living life by design. Let's get to living life the way we see it. Let's get to where we're tired of letting go of the stressors, right? And the stressors and the things that we deal with are just a symptom of the rebellion, sinless nature, right? And so you can go into my social medias, and I can go into an depth about this in a different conversation. But here's the focus. The focus is living your life by design and saying, how do we get better every single day? How do we improve where we're at every single day? How do we help impact people's lives? We're so worried about getting off this planet instead of helping people who are right here. And so one of my biggest focus is, how do I improve as an individual in God's kingdom, being better at helping other people? How do I uh, get this mission pushed forward? And that starts with my why. That starts with my motivation of Vidir Prime, a luxury lifestyle brand for people who are aspiring to be more, who want to do more, who feel stuck. And so I want to start giving you some actions. We're talking about vision coaching now. And so habit forming and habit stacking, habit breaking. Take 21 days and map it out, plan it out. What does your life look like? What does it feel like in 21 days? What does it feel like to be free? What does it feel like to wake up without the stressors? What does it feel like to wake up and I'm not going to say you're in total control, but what does it feel like to say, okay, I designed this life and I can recreate it the way that I see fit for who I am as an individual. Every single day I wake up with the intent to be intentional and purposeful and not be on automation. And it's really easy to do because we take on so much that we really shouldn't. And so this is why delegation and building a team is so important, and having a community of people that you can talk to and seeking wise counsel and all these things, right? And for anybody that hasn't read their Bible, or they're not familiar, I would recommend to go study the word and study and say, okay, what is scripture really saying? And a lot of things that I have found to be true in scripture, because I went and vetted it myself, and understanding, okay, there's a lot of truth to these things in life. And if you go and you study and you say, okay, take out what you've heard from humans, right? And take out what you've heard from people telling you what your life should be, and telling you how your life should go, and telling you this is who we believe you should be, and take that out for a moment. and just go read the words. Just go read the words and go read the understanding. Drinking my coffee before adulting, right? What are the words telling us? What are the things that we're learning and doing, and what does it say? Like my virtual background. If you take the virtual background, it's my whiteboard that I use to teach. And so, where are you going with the habits? And so, take an inventory of your habits. When you get to journal, the first thing I would do is write out an inventory of things that you're fighting with or dealing with, and welcome them. I think oftentimes we fight against ourselves because we don't believe we should have these feelings and emotions, and they're just learned behaviors. Until you learn to recognize and categorize those things and work with them, that's why the journal is important. Write out your thoughts, sit down and say, well, how am I feeling? You know, what am I feeling? How do I feel like? Why am I taking on these emotions? What are these emotions? What are these frustrations? And where are they stemming from? What things and areas can I do? So when I first started doing content, or when I first decided that I'm going to become this individual, excuse me, and we're going on a year of me being really focused on it, I had a lot of people, you know, just the people that I know, not strangers, but people that I know that was just like, this is silly. Why are you doing this? Why can't you just be in this box, right? Why can't you just be? And not because they're intentionally trying to do that. It's just their way. And I was trying to explain this to my daughter. It's human nature. It's human nature to say, I think we're going to do this, or I think we're going to do that. And to see somebody else to break out of that mold is really hard for people, because you have to, it's like a reflection or a mirror of saying, well, why is he doing this, or what makes him think he's this, or whatever. My confidence bothers people, my bravado bothers people, my moxie bothers people, my not caring about what other people says bothers people, me not allowing you to box me in bothers people. These things bothers people, and I don't understand it, and I can't comprehend it. I can't wrap my mind around why people care so much about other individuals striving to become the best version of themselves possible. What bothers you about a person becoming the best that they can be? And I don't understand that. And most people struggle with their own insecurities of becoming the best version that they can be, and understanding who they can be, and where they're going and the directions that they can go. And it's important that you develop this callous to other people's opinions, and stop letting them limit you and say you must follow the rules. The world has never been changed by rule followers. The world has always been changed by people who say, what, I think there's something to this that I just don't like. And I believe that's a God-given gift, because so many earth changers have always constantly said, let's go past what we see. Let's go past what we're doing. And you, in order to do that, you have to create, you have to be in your element, you have to continue to build and grow as the individual. And so for me, I listened to great speakers. It was hard because I saw so many people speaking, and I'm like, I don't want to get into that industry because it's so competitive. And that shouldn't have been my headspace. My headspace now is, I'm going to get into this industry to see how good I can get at it, how well I can get at delivering speech, how well I can get better at workshops, how well I can do these things, how well can I expand God's kingdom, not for me, but to, if I'm a citizen of the kingdom, to properly represent the king, and to properly represent the kingdom that I'm a part of, and my citizenship to the kingdom of God. That is a difference in where I started and where I'm at now, in terms of how do we grow and develop into these individuals beyond what we see, and beyond what we believe is capable. And every single day putting our head down and saying, okay, we must pursue these things. We must, like right now, I just had thoughts about financial stuff. I can feel my brain like turn on the computer and start working on that. And, I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to let God handle that, in terms of He knows what I need. He knows the process. I'm working on through the process, and learning to be patient in the process, and learning to not necessarily try dispelling those feelings, but acknowledge them. Say, hey, I feel you. I hear you. I acknowledge you. I understand your reservation. But we must stay focused on the task. And most people are like, oh, he sounds crazy. No, these are feelings people deal with: anxiety, depression, fear. And a lot of these are learned behaviors, and you must relearn that and say, okay, how am I feeling today? What is transpiring that things are making us become what it is? And so, most of the time people tell us what we should feel or how we should be. And, I've gotten to where I'm just like, it'd be I'm not going to argue with it. I'm not going to dispel it. I'm not going to do anything other than listen and let you be you. And then I'm going to go about my day. I expect you to let me be me and you go about your day. Right. I'm super chill in that regard. I'm not into the whole minding other people's business because I just truly do not care about others people's business like that, right? Are we progressing life forward? Are we putting one foot in front of the other? Are we becoming better? Are we expanding God's kingdom? Are we living in a way that is positive? And I am not going to say I get it right every single day. That is the struggle. That is the battle. And you war with yourself. But Nipsey Hussle said it best. Would I rather be in peace with the world in war with him myself, or whether I'd rather be at war with the world and peace with myself? And I'm learning I'd rather be at war with the world and peace with myself, and peace with knowing that I'm following the plan and directions God has given me. And that is the most critical, most important thing of all time. And if you do those things, your life will be drastically different. And so understanding that, balancing the passion and the things that we're developing as individual people, saying, okay, how do we grow from this? How do we take where we're at and expand it and go about it? Like content creation and streaming and all these things are huge, and people know these things and they just don't do it. And as Myron Golden would say, turn the camera on and speak. I speak to I have a lot of people that I've listened to online, and they inspire me to do this and say there's nothing different from those individuals and me. The thing is they chose to push past the barriers that we put up in our mind mentally and internally, the interior barriers, the external barriers, because people can't see. Just because they can't see doesn't mean there's not a reality. And so that's why my title is Mr. Dreams to Reality. I'm bringing the things, the vision to life. I'm bringing the studio to life. I'm bringing the characteristics to life. But I understand that I have to build a personal brand. I understand that I have to grow and develop into this individual. And so, the first speaking gig was a phenomenal opportunity. And the thing is, when you practice, you practice, you practice, you practice, you practice, you practice, you put the reps up. And whenever you do finally get an opportunity, what do you do for it? And so every opportunity matters. Every opportunity that I turn this camera on and speak is important. Every opportunity that I get whenever uh, I can get in front of a crowd and work on my speech, certain things that I want to improve on, like the and uhs and the pauses, and getting better at the pauses to deliver a thought and allow it to be a complete thought, and allow it to say, okay, here is where we want to go. This is what it feels like to be in this moment. So for an exercise for you, what does it feel like to be the best version that you can be? What does it feel like to be free? What does it feel like to not feel restricted? I'm not telling you won't have restrictions, but to feel the freedom to not have restrictions, to balance out the restrictions. It's a balancing. You have to have structure and understanding. I'm not saying not to have structure. I'm not telling you go be a free bird and go live your life in the way that is not productive. I'm not telling you that. But what I'm saying is design your life. So I had somebody on my social media the other day says, how are you going to do these things? You're coaching full time. And I'm like, dude, I've been coaching for years, right? And Tim, I'm thinking to myself, I have this under control. Like it always amazes me how people bring their limitations on you, or and not intentionally, but they do. How do you expect to pull this off? How do you expect Elon to do what he does? He works 80 hours a week minimum. Like if you work at Tesla, you have to work 80 hours, or you can't work there. And so we live our life, within the 40-hour work week. Oh, I got to work 40 hours. I'm off on the weekends, and that's my life. And if that's your life, great. Please do not ever put those expectations on me, because I just will not. I refuse. I refuse. I prayed to God about this. I refuse, and I acknowledge those feelings, and it does something within me to have that mentality, and I just cannot do it. I've only yielded to God, and if that's what God has chosen me to do, fine. But I firmly believe that it's not true. And so, when people try putting those limitations on you, it's important to see, like, this is not for me. And it's okay to say that. And I commend people who say it's not for them. But I also observe and think, well, what are you going to do now? Like, what areas are you going to improve at? Like, how are you going to get better as that's a stand? I wasn't expecting that. Okay. I'm not cutting that out. It's going to be in there. So, who are we? Who are you becoming? And, what things do we need to grow and develop at? And what things do we need to do? And so here's what I want you to do. Write it down. Commit it to memory. Commit the life that you want to live by design to memory. How does it make you feel? How would it feel to wake up every single day to live your life by design? What does that look like? And you have to factor in days that it's going to be tough, family situations, financial hardships, whatever, and whatever you need to factor in. Factor those things in into your design, saying, okay, I know there's going to be tough days. I know there's going to be hard days. There's going to be days that I don't feel like turning the camera on and having a conversation. There's going to be those days. There's going to be days where I don't feel like being the best that I can be. And those are days you really have to say, I'm going to turn the camera on and I'm going to push through. And regardless of how I feel, I got to get the job done. And most times children do that. They go based off how they feel, right? People who don't want to be high level go based off how they feel. I don't feel it today. I'm not doing it. Well, okay. Well, how often are you going to allow that to happen? How often are you going to allow that to control your situations? How long is that going to be your circumstances? And if you don't learn to grow and evolve into a level of ability, then you're really taking yourself out of the picture. So I had a great conversation with my big brother last night in terms of, where we're going and understanding that we're going to value each other's time to a high level and that we better come ready with some information. And so I think for me, understanding that I see it and I'm hungry and I'm motivated to make it happen. And I'm on my Elon time. I'm coining the Elon time. And what does that mean is we're going there. We're going to Mars. And you may not be going to Mars necessarily for your life in terms of actual space travel, but you're going to Mars in some other capacity where you don't think it's possible. You'll see Elon go to make it to Mars and be like, it's impossible for me, and or to bring his rocket back and to capture it and say, oh, it's impossible for me. It's like, no, it's not. Your limiting belief is makes it impossible. Your limiting belief, your inability to see it happen for you is what makes it impossible. That is the struggle. That is the thing that you have to overcome. And so for me, being a teacher and a coach and saying, okay, I know my content is not entertaining and it's not the sexy kind and it's not you're sit around and listen to T type information. And I understand that will be the other podcast formats I do. This is the teaching and the evergreen content on how to do this thing. How do I become the best that I can be? And honestly, turn the camera off, stop listening to me, and go do the work. Get your journal, write it down, produce something, even if it's just your own thoughts. Work with your thoughts, work with the feelings, work with the emotions, work with the discovery, work with those things. How does it feel? How does it feel? How does it feel to live a life that you're going to live? And so it's always interesting how intrusive thoughts come into your mind when you're not even focused on that. And so this is important to document. I have in document, and you probably have so many intrusive thoughts. It's going to be really hard to bottle it in and say, where are we going? And so it's important to say, okay, I just had 4 or 5 intrusive thoughts while I was doing this last 3 minutes. And that's every single day. And then people wonder why they're bogged down because they're just allowing whatever to go into their existence or allowing whatever to go into their eyes or allowing whatever to go into their hearing. And that's why it's important to watch how you speak, which I've been working on and just being careful. And I've been working on all these things because it gets into your mind and your body and then becomes habits. And so it's important that you're able to break past those things. And it's important that you be careful. Okay. And the first habit you really need to write down 21 days, write something down, even if it's just a small note, a small note, small note, a small note, a small win. Let's just get down to one a day for 21 days. Write something down. Today was good because I'm here. I'm blessed. I'm thankful. I'm positive. I'm optimistic. I'm happy to be here. I'm ecstatic to be here. I'm ecstatic to do what I'm doing right now. It is a blessing and it's such an amazing opportunity. And I had my days where I fight and toil with, am I making an impact, or is lives being changed from what I do? Are, does it really work, right? And that's the things that you just fight with and you deal with, and it's like you got to explore those emotions and feelings. Why do you feel that way? What is making you think that life is going in a direction that's not good for you? And it's important to explore those things and understand that. And so, I work with teenagers, and their rationale behind things always baffle me, because I'm thinking, okay, I know what it's like to be 33 and having these feelings. I can only imagine what it's like to be 16, 17 and not know what in the world you got going on. And so it's important to grow and develop as an individual. And so I hope for somebody you got some nuggets out of this today. If you didn't, here's the one thing I want you to do: close your eyes and visualize what it feels like, right? And here's a point of reference to start for you. Start at say your state parks, and state parks are absolutely beautiful. For some people, they love state parks. Okay, some people love beaches. So for you, your life is going to be different. For me, I would prefer to be on the beach, on the coast. I'd like to be in Florida, somewhere that's got a beautiful coast around the waters. Even though I'm not a swimmer, I don't like water. I will not test my Lord, my God. I will not trust and believe. I will not go swimming in the ocean, and I will not go swimming in large bodies of water. Just won't be me. I will not test my God. I will not. I will not. Not doing it. You can. Other people can. They're swimmers. They love it. No, I'm good. But anyways, so here's the positive note. Visualize what life looks like for you. How many times would you like to travel to the beach or to a coast or to a new city throughout the year? How many times would you like to travel to a state park and explore it and hike it? How many times would you like to have family gatherings? How many times would you like community events? How many times? What does that feel like? And sometimes it's draining to think about these things because you get in such a mundane level of work where you're online all the time, or you're with your coworkers, or you're at work. But what does it feel like? Close your eyes for a few minutes and visualize what it's like to have your feet in the sand, and you're just sitting there with the sun just baking on you and just having you feel good in the ocean and the sound of the waves and beautiful nature and beautiful skies. And you hear all the kids and families enjoying their times and just beautifulness. Now, if you're a hiker, close your eyes and you enjoy taking trips at a state park, and you see the mountains or the hills and the trails, and you hear the animals, and you see creatures, and they're all running through the woods, the forest, wherever it is that you're going. And you're just alone in nature, giving the opportunity to just have a tranquil moment, right? And that's why vacations are important, to have those tranquil moments for me to feel relaxed and to be able to say, you know what? I'm refreshed, I'm ready, I'm energized. I can go pour into other people because I'm recharged, I'm energized. And it's important that you're and understand you're not going to do it by yourself. And so for me, as I developed this vision coaching in the Verdere Prime, and it's all the same stuff I've been doing, it's just getting better at and getting better at the things that we're trying to explore. And I hope for you that you explore your own life. What is your Mars destination for you? What is your outer space limit destination? What is your sea exploration? Explore your own life. Explore the options for your life, not just what's available to you, or what you think you can accomplish, but go past that. I would challenge you to go past one step past. And so here it is, Verdere Prime. Here are some core values of Verdere Prime as I get closer to launching this product: vision, purpose, design, legacy, faith, ambition, boldness, inspiration, focus, and clarity. All these things are important for your life. When I'm building a studio, I have a vision to have people working together, not an AI project, not an AI creator, but actual people. Now, the AI will enhance what we're doing as we discuss these projects, but it's not going to replace the people. All right, so it's been Mr. Dreams to Reality. I have another speaking opportunity coming up. And the thing is, what I'm showing you and what I'm doing is I'm showing you in real time. I'm not just giving you theory. I'm in real time showing you the steps in the process. I'm not just getting on YouTube and saying these are the things that I'm doing. No, I understand that every opportunity that I've been given to speak and speak in front of people is an opportunity to work on my craft. It's an opportunity to work on the things that God has called me to be. And I understand that at such a high level because I coach sports, I coach athletes. I understand what it takes to be successful at a high level. And this is what it requires. This is what it takes. And so you have to do the reps. You have to put in the hours of working on your speech and your speaking. And you have to spend time developing your voice. And if you don't spend time doing these things, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's basketball, being in the banking industry or finance sector, which all those two things are together, but medical, whatever, it doesn't matter. All those things require you to have the ability to speak well and the ability to deliver a message and be able to control your emotions and become relaxed and be able to deliver on something. So it's been fun. It's been a fun opportunity and journey, and I hope that you have a wonderful day, night, morning, afternoon, wonderful weekend whenever you listen to this, a wonderful week. Be great. Become the best version of you. Live life by design. This has been brought to you, the Rise Above Potential podcast. Do me a favor, like and subscribe, like and subscribe, like and subscribe. All right, it's Mr. Dreams to Reality. Coach Ford here, and I'm out.